What's up, DC Nation? The quarterfinals is over and the semifinals has begun. I know I'm recording this video a little bit late, but I haven't really found the time to record videos right now. I apologize if you guys can barely see me. It's nighttime, so this video will be uploaded tomorrow afternoon. So let's go ahead and review the Western Conference semifinals. It will be the Oilers versus the Ducks and the Blues versus the Predators. The Predators eliminated the Blackhawks, and this is the second year in a row the Blackhawks have been eliminated in the first round. And I got a couple of friends that are mad about the game right now. So, anyway, but stuff happens, you know. The Blackhawks are starting to fall apart a little bit, it looks like. And the Blues eliminated the Wild, so that seemed like a pretty easy series for the Blues. The Oilers, first of all, they surprised me in the playoffs, and not to mention they're in the second round because they eliminated the Sharks. And let this be a lesson that the Sharks, you know, it was a fluke that they won the Western Conference last year because they choked hard in the playoffs this year. And as for the Ducks, they eliminated the Flames, and I'm surprised the Flames made it to the playoffs, so that was a pretty easy series for the Ducks. So, basically, my Western Conference Finals predictions is that it's going to be the Ducks versus the Blues. I'm surprised the Oilers are still in the playoffs, so I think the Ducks will eliminate them. As for the Blues, I still, considering the Blues made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, I can see them eliminating the Predators, even though the Predators eliminated the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks were the best Western Conference team, but they didn't play like it, so I still think the Blues are going to eliminate the Predators. And as for the Eastern Conference, it will be the Rangers going up against the Senators, and it's going to be the Capitals versus the Penguins again. But before we talk about the Capitals and Penguins, or the Capitals in general, let me go ahead and talk about who the Rangers and the Senators eliminated. The Rangers eliminated the Canadiens after being down 2-0 in the series, and the Canadiens eliminated the Bruins after being down 1-0 in the series. The Bruins are starting to fall apart. I mean, they go 2 years without making the playoffs, and then they got out in the quarterfinals. So the Bruins, they're choking. So, the Penguins, they eliminated the Blue Jackets pretty easily, and the Capitals eliminated the Maple Leafs. So, my thoughts on the Capitals Maple Leafs: a majority of the series, the game went into overtime. Like, I want to say 5 of the 6 games went into overtime. Game 1, we won 3-2 in overtime. Our defense wasn't that bad. It was acceptable. And going into overtime made me nervous because, as you guys know, the Capitals' weakness is when they lose in overtime in the playoffs. It seems like this has been their weakness for the past 2 years that I've seen. It hurt us against the Rangers a couple years ago, and then 2 crucial games against the Penguins it hurt us as well. So. But the Capitals, I don't know. I think they're getting better in overtime because they're 3-2 in overtime right now. But anyway, Game 1, we won 3-2 in overtime, and I'm like, okay, we're off to a good start. You know, let's see what goes on in Game 2. Game 2, we lose 4-3 in overtime, and I'm all pissed off because the last time the Capitals lost a home playoff game, that's what cost them to get eliminated by the Penguins. Or that was part of the reason why the Capitals got eliminated last year, but the Capitals, I got mad. I was like, okay, now we got to win in Toronto for sure. And it was embarrassing losing a home game in the playoffs, especially to the Maple Leafs, because the Maple Leafs haven't been in the playoffs in like the last 3 or 4 years. I was actually getting into a fight with a Maple Leaf fan on Instagram about, you know, the Capitals, Maple Leafs. The Maple Leaf fan was like, you know, yeah, the Maple Leafs are the best, you know. Bottom line, the Capitals ain't going to win all the way. And I'm like, well, if we don't win it all the way, you know, at least we eliminated your ass, you know, all this and that. But the Maple Leafs, they haven't been good since the 60s, so anyway. But game 3, we lost in overtime 4-3 again, so we're down 2-1 in the series. I'm thinking, all right, we got to stop playing around. This is starting to, end bad for us early. Because game 4 was going to be in Toronto, and I didn't know what the Capitals were going to do, and the Capitals ended up winning 5-4. And that was the first game that didn't go into overtime. They tied up the series. Game 5 went to D.C., and the Capitals won 2-1 in overtime, taking a 3-2 lead in the series. And Game 6, the Capitals put away the Maple Leafs in overtime 2-1 in Toronto, moving us to the second round of the playoffs. So, that's what went down. I wasn't expecting the Maple Leafs to get 2 playoff wins against us. I thought they were going to get 1, but I didn't think they were going to get 2. And the Capitals, they're in the second round again. Now the question is, are they going to choke again, like they've been doing for the past 2 years that I've seen? Or will they actually move on to the Eastern Conference Finals? Can they make it to the third round? Can they make it to the Stanley Cup? Well, they still got a ways to go. But the Penguins, I heard this is like our 10th time in history going up against the Penguins in the playoffs, and we're 1-8 against these damn Penguins. And I think if I had to take a guess, the one time we eliminated the Penguins out of the playoffs was probably the year we got swept in the Stanley Cup Finals in 1998. I want to say we got swept by the Avalanche. I don't remember who we got swept by, but I don't remember it because this was something that happened when I was 1 year old, and with me being 20. Obviously I'm not going to remember that. But anyway, the Capitals, they won 6 playoff games last year. They eliminated the Flyers, and then they won a couple against the Penguins. They lost game 2, which hurt them. And game 6 was when we got eliminated in overtime. I want to say we finished out the year 1-2 in overtime. And the referees, they just gave us a hard time with these Penguins. And I'm hoping they don't do it this year. I'm hoping this is the year we're going to get, we're going to get revenge against these shitheads. I mean, I really want to get some payback on these guys. I mean, losing to these guys, freaking drives me up the wall. I mean, they piss me off more than any rival the Capitals have. I mean, if we can eliminate the Penguins, we're going to win it all. We're going to go all the way. I mean, even if we play the Rangers in the third round of the playoffs, if we go, I still think the Rangers will give us a little bit of an attitude, but I still think we're going to, I still think we can eliminate the Rangers. And as for whoever wins the Western Conference, nobody's going to stand a chance for a team in the Metropolitan Division. But this is it, guys. Whoever wins this series is going to win the Stanley Cup. Whether the Penguins repeat as champions or if the Capitals will get their first title in their 42nd year in the NHL. So, I really want to get some revenge against these guys. I don't know how this series is going to go down. Game 1 is later on today. Of course, the game will be in D.C. I'm hoping now that we've settled down against the Maple Leafs that this series won't be that bad, but, it's the Penguins. This is going to be a tough series between Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin. This is going to be a tough series. The last time we played the Penguins, I remember it well. It was an offensive battle. We ended up losing 8-7 in overtime. Really high-scoring game. Will that happen in the playoffs? It might. But Holtby has got to play some good defense throughout the whole series. He can't, he can't stop playing defense whatsoever, especially if we're playing at home, because we definitely don't want to lose a home game to these guys. Otherwise, we can be in deep trouble because we don't want to have to win in Pittsburgh. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to win in Pittsburgh, but we don't want to lose a home game. So, the two main factors in this game is that Holtby has got to play good defense all series long, and our offense has got to be explosive. If that happens, we can move on to the second round and or move on to the third round, and we'll play either the Rangers or the Senators, whoever wins that series. I want to say that series has already started. I can't remember who won game one. I want to say the Senators won, but I could be wrong. But you know, not only do I want to get revenge on these Penguins, but I want to get some payback on the Rangers as well after being up 3-1 and then them embarrassing us in the playoffs like that. I mean, these are two teams I really, really want to get some deep revenge on. And as for the Stanley Cup Finals, like I said, nobody in the West is going to contain us, whether it's the Predators, whether it's the Blues, whether it's the Oilers, or whether it's the Ducks. Neither one of them are going to stand a chance. And just to let you guys know, a quick update on the Wizards. They lead the series 3-2 against the Hawks. They won by 4 in Game 5. Game 6 will be in Atlanta tomorrow. I'm hoping the Wizards can put the series away there. I really want to get revenge on the Hawks for what they did to us a couple years ago, because I don't want to be back on here making another crow congratulating the... Well, actually, I never got on here because I just started trash talking last year, but you guys know what I mean. I don't want to make a crow, you know, against the same team who put us out of the playoffs a couple years ago. But so far, you know, the Wizards are looking good. You know, they're up by 1. We'll see if they can put it away in Atlanta. And if they don't, then as long as they win in D.C., that's all that matters. So, that's going to do it for me, guys. Capitals, Penguins, second round, the rematch. Fingers crossed, D.C. Nation. And let's go get some revenge against these Penguins.